I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to be sharing a tutorial from one of my books, and what I'm hoping to do over the coming months is start working through both of these books. So my first one with all of the different doodle designs and ideas in, and also then my new one with the journal prompts and layout ideas. So I'm going to just start picking pages at random and themes of doodles and just share them here. So particularly if you've got the book, that you can turn to that page and work along with me. If you've got any particular pages that you really want to see me create when you've had a look through the books, then please just let me know in the comments. I'm going to keep a list going and just start working through them in the hope that it gives you lots of new ideas and inspiration for your own journals. Well, I really hope you enjoy the video. I've had a look through both of the books, and I thought that a really good place to start would be by doing some simple banners and scrolls. So if you've got my first book, Journal with Purpose, then you can find these on pages 18 and 19, and I'm going to go through 5 different examples today. And I thought this would be a good place to start because I use different borders and banners in lots of my journal page layouts, which you'll have probably seen some in my second book. So I thought it'd be a really good way of being able to kind of incorporate a bit from both books together, but to hopefully give you some really fun ideas to be able to add to your journal pages. I'm working in this dotted book, and this is Coffee Notes brand, and it was recently sent to me by Cult Pens, and you'll be able to see it in my recent notebook review video, and I'm getting on really well with this. And I'm going to use a Sakura Pigma Micron pen, so one of the fine liners, and I'm going to go for a 02 nib. I really like these because they're waterproof and I find the nibs work really well. So I'm going to start off by just adding my header at the top of here. And I'm using a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen with a firm nib for this. So for the first banner, we're going to start with kind of the most simple and start off by drawing a rectangle. And dotted paper is really helpful for this because it's going to help give you those nice straight lines, and also if you want to count anything, to make sure that you're keeping things even. If you're using plain paper, you could look at printing out some dotted paper and laying it underneath so that you've got something to use to help guide you. So for the next step, I'm going to count 1 dot in from each end and draw a little line coming down. And then we're going to turn these into triangles. So join the dots across. And then we're going to add the end part of the banner. So my rectangle is 2 dots deep, so I'm going to go for the dot in the middle. And then bring out 2 lines, so one from it in the middle of the ribbon and one at the bottom of the triangle, so they come to the same point. And then just give it a little end that looks like a ribbon. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Really quick and easy, great for adding headings in on your journal pages, and you can just play around with different designs and colours with these. And then to finish that off, I'm going to add just a few lines in here to show a little bit of shading. And to add colour, I'm going to use some of the Tombow ABT brush pens. So I think I might start with a nice blue colour. But rather than just colour straight with these today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different. So I've got an old ceramic plate here, and I'm going to scribble with this onto the plate. And I may take the sound out because this really squeaks when you do it. Okay, and then I'm going to use a water brush. I've got a Derwent here, so you just fill up the end with water, and then you can just squeeze some out into your ink that you've just put down from your pen. And this is a really lovely way of getting a watercolour effect, but without necessarily having to get all of your watercolours out. Definitely great if you're on the go, but this is something that I'll often do perhaps in the evening if I'm sat on the settee and I don't want to risk making too much mess. Just being able to add a little bit of water to the ink from the brush pens is really quick and easy. So I'm just going to add that to both ends of the ribbon as well. And I really like having a little book like this filled with ideas. So if you do follow along with me, I'd really recommend just adding it perhaps to a separate book or pile of papers, so that if ever you're looking for new ideas for your journals and you're feeling perhaps a bit uninspired, you can look back through your own creations. So if you're following along with anybody's YouTube videos and you decide to add a few doodles or designs, you've got something you can always come back to and just kind of remind yourself of things you've tried in the past. And then for the colour in the shaded part, I'm going to still use that same Tombow, but I'm then going to just colour that in. And because it's not mixed with water, of course it's the colour's a lot deeper, but you know it's also going to match in perfectly with the colour that you've just mixed as well. So that's our first banner all done. For the second banner, we're going to do something similar, but make it curved and with some of the ribbon coming out of the top and some the bottom. So I'm going to start off again with 2 lines as if I was drawing a normal rectangle. But this time I'm going to curve the lines so that some come slightly higher than the dot and some go, and then part of it goes slightly lower. And then I'm going to add something along the bottom and try and keep it roughly parallel with that line above. But really don't worry about trying to make it look too perfect. And this time we're going to add a line, a dot in again, but we're going to have one coming up and one coming down. And then we're going to add those triangles in the same way. And then this time we're going to add the ribbon on the end, but this time we're going to do it with a curved line instead. So it's just a variation really on that first banner that we did. And then to finish it off, again, just adding some little lines to show the shading where the ribbon is folded back. This time for colour, I'm going to use one of the green ABT brush pens and do exactly the same. And any water-based kind of felt tip pen should work fine for this. Just try mixing it up with some water. I really like how it gives that soft watercolour effect, because I do find with kind of brush pens, any kind of coloured pens, you often get those streaks in them when you're colouring with them. And of course, because you're mixing this with lots of water, you get rid of that issue completely. But you could definitely just use the brush pens as they are if you prefer, or use coloured pencils. And again, I'm then going to finish off the shading using the actual pen itself. I'm getting on so well with this Coffee Notes book. It's holding up to water really well. But again, another advantage of using brush pens with water is you don't tend to be adding lots of water to your pages. So even if they're quite thin, they'll probably hold up well. For the last of the banners, again, we're going to do a curved one, but in a different style this time. And I'm going to start off by doing a kind of curvy S shape. And that's going to give us the basic shape of where we want our ribbon to be folded. So I'm going to start off from kind of just a little way up this first part of the curve. And I'm going to bring that around and then take this out into the long part of the banner. And then again, I'm going to kind of try and keep this roughly parallel and add my little shapes on the end. And then to finish off this end, again, we can draw in the end of that ribbon. And then we're going to draw a curved shape here to be able to show the ribbon folding around. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of shading in this kind of fold here, and then a little bit up here too. And for the colour for this one, I'm going to use a pink ABT pen. If you do decide to have a go at any of these and you're on Instagram, please do tag me in over there. I'm at Journal with Purpose. And make sure, if you can, you actually tag me in on the photo itself, because I won't otherwise always get to see it if you just mention it in the caption. I'd absolutely love to see how you get on with it, and of course share them up in my Instagram stories as well, so other people can see and be inspired too. And you could play around with adding kind of different decorations to your banners as well, little dots, circles, stitch marks, anything you like. So I'm going to add this diluted mix to all of the ribbon except the little fold that's behind. And then again, I'm going to just use the actual pen itself for that. We're now going to move on to creating a scroll. And the way I tend to start with these is by doing kind of a large misshapen L. And you'll notice that I turn my page around a lot, and that's because I've just found that I have better control of my pen with it moving in some directions than I do in others. Okay, so when we've then got the L shape, we're going to come a little way along from the left and we're going to draw, it's like a number 9 really, so that you've got that there, and that's going to be the edge of your paper curling up. And I'm then going to trace this, we'll kind of follow that line underneath along and then bring them around together. Then I'm going to add a little bit of shading in here. Then I'm going to come slightly in from the right. Bring that line up. And then bring these two together. And you could definitely leave it just like that and you've got a space for writing, but I think I'm going to add another little sheet inside. And then I think I'm going to add some stitch marks on both sides of here. So again, a really fun little way of adding a note on your journal page that you really want to stand out. So it could be a reminder or something special that happened that day. And for this one, I'm going to use some orange and yellow. And I'm going to add just a little bit of the deeper orange straight from the pen in there as well. And then we're going to finish off with one of my absolute favourite ways of adding, I just think it's a really adorable little page tab and great for putting dates and things in as well. So we're going to start off, you're going to have an imaginary lime. So perhaps start on one of the dots and bring it over. And then we're going to bring the bottom part of the ribbon down just as we did with the others. And then add the little triangle on the bottom. And then we're going to draw that line that I said to kind of imagine. So just tracing along the dots. And then we're just going to add the black ink into this little bit, which is where your kind of page tab looks like it's folded over the top of the page. Just so quick and easy to do. But if I'm doing something like dailies in my bullet journal and just want to add the date, absolutely perfect for that. And then this final one, I think I'll use this purple colour for. So that is our banners all complete. I really hope you've enjoyed this sort of tutorial and that it's left you inspired to have a go as well. As always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.